48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemy.
Therefore shall you serve your enemies,
which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst.
We don't own Dasani, we don't own Aquafina, we don't own Ozark, we don't own the water company.
Bring it out.
If we don't pay our trash and water bill, they cutting it off.
Right.
Who are we paying that to? We ain't paying that to another black man. We ain't paying that to another black company. Who are we paying that to? Who we paying it to?
Who we paying it to?
Yeah.
We actually paying it to this little circle.
Okay, well, who own this? Who over that circle?
So it's like a little cycle.
Who over it? Who over it?
We all over it now.
How?
It ain't just no white.
So if you don't pay your water bill, you can keep it on?
It ain't just no white people in there no more. It's just
who run it?
You can even see
who run it.
Who run it?
Yeah, who run it?
The black and the white people start.
What black people you know run the water company?
I know.
Bring it out.
I'm seeing black people in the courts.
I see them in the courts. I see them all that, and what they stand to. They stand to an American flag that has nothing to do with you.
That's right.
They stand and show honor and a grievance, or not grievance, but they show honor and dedication to a flag that has nothing to do with us. So then, who was over that?
You're right. Even a black man doing that.
Exactly. That's part of them 2/3 that done fell away. Read it again.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness.
And same clothes on your back, and even in nakedness, you got to go to your enemies for.
And in want of all things.
In want of all things. In order to sell on the street, you got to go to your enemy. In order to drive a car, you got to go to get health care, you got to go to your enemy. To get all these things, you got to go to your enemy for it. Who is your enemy? You said it earlier. So-called white man, that's your enemy. The so-called Chinese man, that's your enemy. The so-called Arab man is your enemy. These are your enemies according.
What you said.
Okay, these are your enemies according to God. Read.
And in one of all things.
Now, check this out. Is this spiritually or is this physically?
And in one of all things. And he.
And who?
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck.
Who put yokes of iron upon our necks? Who put yokes of iron on our necks?
Make it plain.
The white man did that.
Right.
That's a plain. So did the Arab man.
Right.
That's a plain. So why, when we get to the scripture, it sound confused? Because it's simple. It's so simple, man, that can't be there. All my life, that's been there the whole time, it's been right there.
Bring it out.
You're going to serve your enemies in a want of all things, in hunger, in thirst, in nakedness. And he said that same enemy going to put yokes of iron upon your neck. So, who is it talking about? Talking about the children of Israel.
Right.
They ain't talking about everybody. Read.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee.
It says, until he have destroyed thee. Until I destroyed you, you walking a dog on a chain, you walking him up, and you want to stop, you pull that dog, you pull that chain, make him stop.
Bring it up.
Pull his neck. When you go, you let it go. When you stop again, you pull his neck again. Eventually, when you stop and take that chain off his neck, he knows to stop because he gonna think you're gonna pull his neck. We walking like animals because we ain't got yokes around on our neck. We've been destroyed because we think all nations is included. All nations, we equal with everybody. We ain't equal with nobody. We above all nations. Give me that first.
I got a question.
First Ezra 6, verse 54.
How do you get all these different nations, nationalities? Different colored people.
I'm gonna tell you one. For one, the so-called white man, he comes from us. He comes from Isaac. You wouldn't doubt that, right? Yeah, First Ezra chapter 6. You wouldn't doubt that, right?
Yeah. How you get besides just the white? Now, still talking about black. Now let's go outside the box and say. Outside the box, you got Chinese.
You got Chinese.
Italians.
You got coming out of Abraham. You got many nations come out of Abraham, right? Many nations come out of Abraham. Many nations are Shemitic. You know what it means to be Shemitic? No. Shemitic. Noah had 3 sons: Ham, Japheth, and Shem. Right? The nations of Ham occupy the regions in Africa, right? Not saying that all of Africa is Hamite nations, but you have the Egyptians, the Ethiopians, the Libyans, the Cushites. These are sons of Ham.
So where do white people come?
White people come out of the loins of Shem, right?
Is that God's people?
That's not. Part of God's people come out of the loins of Shem because there was a promise given to Abraham. Abraham had many sons, Isaac to be one, right? Out of Isaac come who? Jacob and Esau. Now this is two nations. I'm gonna read you that as well. Let's get two nations. Genesis 25, start at verse 21.
Cain and Abel is two different colors, huh?
Two different colors?
Yeah.
Where you say that at?
Cain was a pale colored person.
Okay. He lost his pigmentation. He lost his pigmentation due to the sin, right?
I don't know if I ain't hear nothing about it lost his pigmentation.
In the sense?
Because of the sin, he said that
he was different colors, right? All right. Listen at this.
The book of Genesis chapter 25 verse 21. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife because she was barren, and the Lord was entreated of him.
Who is Isaac? Isaac is the son of Abraham. Abraham had at this time he had two sons. Isaac Ishmael. He also had other sons with Keturah, right? That's when you get these other nations, the Midianites, all these different other nations, right? Abraham also had a nephew, Lot. That's when you get the Chinese and the Japanese, right? What we talking about?
So, and the reason why I asked that question,
okay.
I mean, he keeps speaking white man. White man. If you got out of one man, you got all these different nationalities out of one man, then how can we separate out of that one man these different nationalities? Who is the Hebrew? Who is not our man, but they came from the same Gentiles, but the same family.
We're looking at this right here. We're looking at the curses that God said that the children of Israel would go through, right? Right.
He said the people that are cursed are disobedient people. That's the whole.
That's the whole person why they went into the curses.
And he was talking about any and everybody.
Listen.
You know what I'm saying?
Listen. We read it in Psalms 147. He showed his word unto Jacob, right? His statutes and his judgments, he didn't deal with no other nation with that. No other nation went through the judgments of God. The white man ain't went through this. The Chinese man didn't go through this. The Arab man didn't go through this.
I understand it.
So that's why we going back to these curses to show exactly who we are. Because we the only people that went through that. We can't say that they went through that. If they went through that, then well, yeah, they might be the children of God. If the Chinese man had yokes of iron placed on his neck, and he was bought and sold, right? And his wives was raped and murdered, children sold off. He might be the children of God. But we can't say that didn't happen to them. It didn't happen. It didn't say what it say. It didn't happen to them. Read that. We're gonna read about Jacob and Esau. Read. And Isaac. Hey, Lord willing, you see us again, my brother. Let me read you 6 scriptures. I'm just gonna read along. I ain't gonna jump.
And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife because she was barren, and the Lord was entreated of him. And Rebekah his wife conceived, and the children struggled together within her. And she said, If it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb.
So God said 2 nations are in your room, Rebekah. 2 nations are in your room. Are in your womb. Read.
And 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels.
2 manner of people shall be separated from your bowels. Read.
And the one people shall be stronger than the other people.
It said the one people shall be stronger than the other people, right?
And the elder shall serve the younger.
The elder shall do what?
Serve the younger.
The elder child gonna serve the younger child, right? Read.
And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red.
It said the first came out red. What people you know red on this earth?
Bring it out.
Nah, Mexicans ain't red. Mexicans ain't red. You make a white boy run up the platinum 50s and back, what color you gonna turn?
Bring it on.
You make a white boy, you slap a white boy, what color you gonna turn?
Bring it on.
If he stand out here in the cold, his ears, what color you gonna turn? They gonna turn red, read?
And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment.
Said the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, read.
And they called his name Esau.
They called his name what?
Esau. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob.
So the brother to Jacob was Esau. It say Esau was red and hairy. He was a hairy red man.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 6, verse 54. And after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all, and the people also whom thou hast chosen. And all this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sakes.
Says God made the world for our sakes, for the children of Israel. He made the world for our sakes. Read.
As for the other people which also came of Adam.
As for the other people which also come of Adam, the children of Israel come of Adam. We also read in the sense of Esau come of Adam. Ishmael come of Adam. The so-called Chinese and Japanese, they also come of Adam. But the only one of the people that God chose were the children of Israel. Read.
As for the other people which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing.
Said thou hast said that they are nothing. Read.
But be like unto spittle, and hast likened to the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel.
It said these other nations are like spit. They are like nothing to the Most High God. The Most High God has chosen the children of Israel to be above all nations on this earth. Why are we subservient to a people that God hates? To a people that God does not look kindly to?
Bring it on.
Read it again.
As for the other people which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle, and hast likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel.
But has likened the abundance of them like a drop that falleth from a vessel. That's like a mop bucket. You spill a little bit of water, here's like in the abundance of all these other nations, like a drop that falleth from a vessel. Right. Read.
And now, O Lord, behold these heathen, which have ever been reputed as nothing, have begun to be lords over us.
These other nations have begun to be lords over us. That's how we are not in our right estate. We are not supposed to be subservient to a people that are below us.
Right.
We are not in our homeland. We are not in rulership.
Right.
That is what heaven is about. Heaven is about rulership. Read it again.
And now, O Lord, behold, these heathen which have ever been reputed as nothing have begun to be lords over us and to devour us. But we, thy people, whom thou hast called thy firstborn, thy only begotten, and thy fervent lover, are given into their hands.
We have been given into our enemies' hands to be servants, to be handmaids. But God said we are above all nations on this earth.
Right.
Read.
Are given into their hands. If the world now be made for our sakes, why do we not possess an inheritance with the world?
It says if the world be given, if the world is given to us into our sakes, why do we not inherit it? Why do we not inherit it?
Bring it on.
Why do we continue to break God's Sabbath day, knowing the things that happened to us to put us in this position in the first place for breaking God's commandments? My sis, hey, sis, get a flyer, sis. We showing our people exactly who they are according to the Bible. Today is the Lord's Sabbath day.
Right.
We should not be buying and selling on the Lord's Sabbath day. We should not be cooking on the Lord's Sabbath day. The Sabbath day is holy unto the Lord thy God.
Exodus chapter 20 verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy.
It says, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy.
6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God.
Say, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. The 7th day is Saturday. That's the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. Read.
In it thou shalt do any work, thou nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the 7th day.
So it said God rested on the 7th day. The 7th day being Saturday. Today is the Sabbath day. We're not really doing no work today.
The book of Nehemiah, chapter 10 and verse 31. And if the people of the land bring ware or any victuals on the Sabbath day to sell, that we would not buy it of them on the Sabbath or on the holy day.
It says or on the holy day. Today is a holy day. Today is a Sabbath day. We should not be buying and selling on the Lord's Sabbath.
What is a nation? Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is men leading by example. Nation is women's support. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is you.